Hello for the 20th Sunday in Ordinary Time, using the first reading, Jeremiah 38:4-10, and the Gospel Luke 12:49-53. Is that right? 53, yeah. And sort of the title is, well, I'm Catholic, I was baptized one. Oh, really? Well, congratulations. Let's look at the Gospel and Jesus in baptism. How many of you really know a person who was baptized a Catholic and he or she says, well, I'm a Catholic, I was baptized one? You know a friend like that or somebody in your family like that? I think we all do. What does that mean? I was baptized one. I'd like to look at Jesus in his baptism in the gospel. Jesus was baptized by John the Baptist. Jesus was interested in religion and Judaism and the message of John, and he went out the desert to hear John, his cousin, and he insisted that he be baptized. And he was. Immediately following that baptism, at least it's said in Matthew and Mark, he went into the desert for 40 days and 40 nights in prayer, trying to figure out his mission, what it means to be baptized. And he did this, as I say, 40 days and 40 nights, and he came out with a real mission, at least he thought, that he carried out in 2 or 3 years. Jesus lived his baptism, and it was a real thrust in his life. He was very much aware of it and became more aware all the time. I'm sure he was sort of aware of it when he got baptized by John, and got a lot more aware of it when he went in the desert, was tempted by the devil, and it continued to get more forceful, more powerful, and more active. And he sort of knew it and felt it. Oh, what's it say in that gospel? Here. There is a baptism with which I must be baptized, and how great is my anguish until it is accomplished. A baptism, and then in due time being accomplished. Do you think that I have come in to establish peace on the earth? No, I tell you, but rather division. Sounds like our world today. The world at large and the world of politics. Great division. And we, home here, experience such great violence and evil acts. Well, Jesus lived in a world it wasn't hunky-dory either. It certainly wasn't a peaceful world with Rome running it. It's not a peaceful world with, in quotes, United States running it. Jesus, and my point is, he was historically baptized by John the Baptist, and he lived out his mission with a thrust for 2 or 3 years. He winds up suffering and dying because of his mission. Jesus lived in a world much like ours, divided, good people, bad people, weeds and wheat. And he did everything in his power to help it, to solve the problem of evil, and to help establish, really, the kingdom of God. And he had a great zeal, and he didn't just get historically baptized by John the Baptist and then everything was fine. He had fire in his guts. What's it say? I have come to set the world on fire, and how I wish it were already blazing. Didn't the same thing happen to John the Baptist? He had fire in his guts, and he tried and moved people. Change your hearts and live the way you have been made by God. Jeremiah the prophet had fire in his heart, and he would challenge whoever was not living the way God made us to live. Jeremiah spoke the word, the intent, the heart of God to the people. John the Baptist had his head cut off. Jesus Christ crucified on the cross. Jeremiah thrown into the pits, the cistern, in a mud hole for God. But they all had a mission. And that mission was for life. For life. My point is, sometimes, sometimes we have, a certificate of baptism. Father Larry, April 3, 1939. I was baptized. If it starts there and stops there, and I say, oh, I'm a Catholic, baloney. I'm supposed to have a mission. I'm supposed to be a good Catholic, a good Christian, a fine human being. That's living out baptism. You might have to suffer, you might not. You might have to go and say this is wrong and demonstrate, and you might not. You might have to do a lot of things, but they're not all easy. But we do have to keep them all in our head and in our heart. That we're called by God, not just to be having human life, we're called by God to be baptized people with a mission like Christ. And often it's not easy. We're swimming against the tide. We're swimming around in division. But if we know that we have been called and we try to do what we have been called, we'll be happier people. We'll be better people. And people will see it on our face, in our hearts, and how we live. So when you get married and so forth, and they ask you for a baptismal certificate, you go into seminary, they ask for a baptismal certificate. You go to grade school, they ask you for a baptismal certificate. This isn't worth the black ink that I wrote upon it if I am not halfway trying to be like Christ and living out my mission, my few years to help establish the kingdom of God. Have a good day.